And just like that, dear friends, here we are. Good evening. So delighted that you could be with us this evening. My name is Nicholas Viselli. I'm the artistic director of Theater Breaking Through Barriers. And yeah, it's that time. So we're coming to you live as live can be from right here in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, the heart of the Thunderdome. And I am so uh, thrilled about tonight's show on behalf of our entire cast, our entire company of artists and technicians and administrators. I would like to cordially welcome you to Theater Breaking Through Barriers' fourth Hybrid Playmakers Intensive, or HPI4, Transcendence Approaching. Um, this was such an interesting topic, I thought, and I have to say, I feel I was right about that only because we started on Monday with a really wonderful show by Chris Phillips, and then we had Farida Pasha's incredible show last night, and we have another really incredible show tonight. So it's just really, really exciting. I think the concept of transcendence means a lot of things to a lot of different people. I tend to look at it as a positive thing. And it's just so interesting to sort of get everybody's sort of different takes on it and how that concept of transcendence, whatever that may mean to you, um, uh, lands with everybody. So I don't want to say anymore. I'm just really, really thrilled and excited. Tonight we have this really, really wonderful play. The play was written, as I mentioned, by Pamela Sabaugh. Pamela, I love Pamela. I've worked with her and I've known her for many, many years. She is an incredible artist, incredible actor, an incredible director, an incredible musician, and a incredible writer. She's an incredible writer, and she wrote this really lovely piece called Blue Distance. It was directed by such an outstanding director. His name is Graydon Gunn. Now, Graydon, you've seen Graydon's work before. We actually did a project with him in September of four short pieces by another playwright who's actually writing for this intensive named Peter Mark. But now he gets to work with Pamela, which is great. And we have tonight's play is only a two-hander, so we have two wonderful artists that are doing this. We have Melissa Jennifer Gonzalez and we have Marianne Conk. So without any further ado, enough superlatives. I'll let you be the judges. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy Pamela Sabaugh's Blue Distance.
Hello, Cleveland.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
So, who here likes a good raunchy joke? Anyone? Anyone? Everything old is new again. Or are you a bit bawdy with a touch of class? Well, when I was a child, I used to do this thing. This thing that made no sense at all.
So yeah, I fled the States because I no longer felt safe. I was afraid I'd stand out. Immigrant, disabled, queer. So I moved back home. But yeah, now I'm in a sea of sameness. Except for me, of course. I'm like an alien in my home country.
I wait in the wings of a very old, time-honored theater, suspended in semi-darkness, tucked behind a sturdy black flat with only a ghost lamp for company. And from this sheltered wing, I will walk. I will slowly and deliberately make my way to the spotlight, shining stage center.
5, 4, 3,
Click,
2,
click,
1.
click. I tread the boards, making my way into the pool of light.
Good, good. Just hold it right there. Hey, Candy, can we fluff up her hair a bit just on top? And, where are my leather chaps? Wait, what do you mean that they haven't arrived yet? Come on, Paul. Oh, well.
It's, you don't understand. Or maybe you do understand, but I can't explain it. Yes, that's it. It's not you, it's me. I can't explain it. I hear things.
You hear things.
No, I don't mean that. I mean what I just did just then. I heard in my head what you were thinking. Okay, granted, you weren't very subtle, but
I repeated what you said.
but isn't there so much more? So much more than what's just being said?
I guess
Yeah,
that
there it is again. I'm hearing what you're not saying. I'm always hearing what people aren't saying.
I think I understand. No, really, I do. I'm not being sarcastic.
Wait. Did you just hear me thinking that I thought you were being sarcastic?
No, but I thought I heard myself think that, my brain hurts.
My brain hurts a lot.
5 years.
That's all we've got.
Yeah, okay, Bowie. Okay. See, it's not so bad hearing things in what other people say.
You think?
You tell me.
Communicate. From the Latin communicare, to share or impart. Communicate, community, also from communis, meaning common, commonwealth, community, communitas, communion, co, together, together with, in communication with, incommunicado.
So the great Tim Curry, Sir Tim, is he knighted? Wait, what? Why not? Well, anyways, he told this story in an interview, 50 years of Rocky Horror and all that, about receiving Charles and Diana on stage after a show. They went down and shook hands with the rest of the cast, and Lady Di, who was wearing this blue sequin dress, she called out, I need wardrobe. My dress is deconstructing. There's a line of blue sequins trailing from my seat to the stage. And that very image, blue, shiny dots around the ground, bedazzled breadcrumbs, that really stayed with me. Yeah.
No sense whatsoever. You know how it is when you're a kid? You know how the mind works. But I would just run around randomly shouting out numbers, often backward. 58, 57, 56, 55, 4, 3, 2, 1, until one day the neighbor lady heard me in the courtyard. I think she was Welsh. Figures. Anyway, she leaned out the window and she said, "Ah, that child be warding off enchantment." To which my mother, who was very much Catholic, sprang to her feet and she replied, "She is doing no such thing." She'd been tending our little patch of garden. I can still see her. Floppy hat, spade in hand, trembling slightly. And from that day forward, I never did it again. Not that I was forbidden. My mother never said a word to me about it. But ever since, whenever I felt the urge to shout a number, I'd open my mouth and I'd just freeze. Because I knew it would freak my mother out.
So, no, I don't miss the States, really. I mean, I began to explore the traditional indigenous weaving practices of my home country, but it's very delicate. I've been away for so long, I guess.
Oh, yes, we wouldn't want to appear like a fraud now, would we?
Zelda?
Cynthia?
Cynthia? What the hell, Z?
Is that not your name?
No, not anymore. It's Synth. Just Synth. And you know that.
I knew you once.
Come on, Zelda, it's me.
Yes, you. You gave me the courage to put myself out there in front of thousands, night after night. Best dresser I ever had.
Excuse me?
Well, when you started out.
Even when I was starting out, I mean, I started working at wardrobe, but I still am, and I always am. I've always have been a designer.
Well, yes, okay, whatever. You absolutely had your own thing, I know. And your thing made me believe in my thing, in me.
Well, I'm glad.
You wrapped me in fine linen and covered me in silk. The Empress surely did have clothes. And where we gathered, people came and they cared and we rocked.
True, true. We did rock, but you know, things change. We wore it out, but we wore it well.
And then, just when I needed you most, you vanish.
I no, I did not vanish. I moved back home for valid reasons.
You're not here. Now there is no here.
You are a very needy person.
Yes, I have needs. I need my friends. I need my collaborators. When I compose, I need the orchestra. Human hands on strings or bows, brass and keys, blistered fingers, chapped lips, sweat stains on a fine tux or a sequined gown. I need mistakes and rehearsal and process and protection.
See? You! And you're not even a composer.
You know what I mean. We both, what we create, it cannot exist without other actual people bringing it to life. Your threads are nothing without bodies to wear them.
Actually, I'm selling a lot online these days.
Online. That's not a place. I'm talking about community.
There are lots of communities online.
Oh, please, communities. Communities stretched thin over a rack of distance, flattened and ripped to shreds by data. Our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. I am talking about flesh and bone. I'm vinyl, to be scratched. Analog.
See, analog is still a mere copy of what's real.
But captured and compressed in the same room. Drape me in overtones and undertones.
Zelda, what are you trying to say?
They would do away with this very real, tangible, substantive world.
Who is they?
The same fuckers you ran from.
You mean... Okay, I didn't run from tech bros. I ran from the looming specter of crushing authoritarianism.
Which is everywhere, kiddo. And it's all one and the same.
Yeah, they're part of the problem for sure. But
AI marching us like zombies to Armageddon with little tick-tock demons nipping at our heels.
Okay, I'm lost.
You know Sir Tim had a stroke.
Yes, I know. He gave the Rocky Horror interview from his bed at home, which sucks.
Well,
what? Zelda?
I can't do it alone.
Do what? Zelda, wait, where are you?
I am here where you are not.
Wait, hold on. Am I dreaming?
You tell me.
Zelda, seriously, where are you?
I'm in the wings of a very old, time-honored theater.
Zelda!
Suspended in semi-darkness, and from this sheltered wing I will walk. I will slowly and deliberately make my way to center stage, and then I will step into the light.
Wow. Really amazing, you guys. Please come back on. Let's talk. Pamela, author, Melissa, Marianne, and everyone. Tucker, come on if you can. And everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Abriana. Abriana is actually coming to us from Los Angeles, but Abriana is working with TBTB, helping us with development and research. And I asked her to join us tonight so that, LA, so we can all be together and talk and share all this. This play is really really powerful because the messages in it, I think, are when I was reading through not only this play but a lot of the plays, I've said this is going to be the third time I said this now, but what I love about our intensives are the fact that I think the plays that are created in this very limited span of time really become like a chronicle for where we are living right now, and make statements in terms of where we are and how we are feeling. And that's why I think they're so important. It's fun when I look back on some of the plays that were written 5 years ago during the pandemic. You can actually go through them, and you can relive those moments through the work that had been created, which is really extraordinary. I think this play is so fascinating because it sort of exists in a space that is not real. Well, as real as we are right now, I suppose. But I think that really lends a really interesting idea into the question of our existence or our life as it appears virtually, and what is real and what is not anymore. And it plays into a whole lot of other elements that are going on in our world and our society. Pamela, when you started to write this, I always am fascinated to find out, because I mean, you may have ideas as to what you want to write, but when you meet with your artists, that sort of helps flesh other things out as well. Tell me, what was the inciting conversation that sort of triggered this work that we saw tonight?
Well, first of all, congratulations. You guys were great. And yeah, it really did. I had nothing. I came in a complete blank slate, and it really did come. The idea came and evolved, but it came from our first meeting and conversation. It came from the artists. Marianne shared we talked about the what transcendence meant to us, and Marianne shared that the theaters, it offers a place of transcendence, and often will go hoping to be transcended. And also she talked of improv, and Melissa shared how she moved, and we talked about transcending the ordinary, and Melissa shared how the very lines that I stole right from her, which is feeling like an alien in her home country. And then I had no idea, but after that conversation, these two very distinct characters appeared to me, who eventually were named Zelda and Synth. And Zelda was exactly where she says she was, in the wings of a theater, and there was the theater, and Synth was counting and ripping a bolt of fabric into strips. And going off of Marianne's talk of improv, I just sort of played with those two characters, sort of and allowed, and sort of said yes, and in the spirit of improv, to whatever was coming up, and not thinking I had to figure it out. And so for me, I think where transcendence really was useful was as permission to transcend, as you say, place, to transcend the strictures of what a play should be, and just let it sort of unfold. So yeah, so that's where it came from, and it evolved, and sort of then many other things sort of folded into it as it came to life.
Yeah, it had because of that, it lent to a very sort of, in many ways, surrealistic quality. There were like, there was definitely elements of reality, and then there was all these elements of like, are you here? Are you not here? That kind of a thing made it very, very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't want to be pinned down by I'm writing for a Zoom play.
Mm-hmm.
And what it ended up availing itself to is memory
Mm-hmm.
and connection between human beings, between friends and collaborators, and how those bonds transcend space and time.
Mm-hmm.
So how we keep people with us,
Mm-hmm.
and therein, gets to the distance. It can even transcend distance. In this case, Zelda does manage to
Yeah,
somehow confront and connect with synth.
I love that. It's funny because again, we in last night's play we talked a bit about the concept of how um we are connected in ways that are in many ways beyond our explanation. It's like it's like it's an energy. There's something about it that it it's you can't even really explain it in an if you try to intellectualize it, it 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 can never come out quite right. It's a feeling, it's a sensation. The memories of people, what you experience together, kind of not only influence you and influence your life, but those things sort of keep you connected, which is why sometimes you may have a very good friend that you don't see for years, and when you finally reconnect with them, it feels like there was never any time that passed between you. So it's hard to explain it, but it's really it's there. There's like it's almost electrical, I guess is the way I describe it. And I think that there's certainly a lot of that in this work, which is really exciting. Grady, when you tell me about this first meeting for you, and then how you worked together to create all of this.
I I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't know that I've done other ones, at least on Zoom, that had multiple scenes. So the idea of trying to find a different way to represent these kind of different states throughout the play and what kind of connection. There's one that's just kind of sitting there talking. There's one where one of them is kind of visiting the other in some way, and you only have so much at your disposal to make that happen. So that was fun to talk out while, as Pamela was saying, not trying not to constrain it or lock anything down in a way that would make it less fun as a kind of exercise of looking at what this is and where audiences think it is. Well, we have a version of it so we can play it, but trying to leave that open for people in a way so they can engage.
Well, I think in so doing that, because we're sort of conditioned to follow a sort of a linear narrative, right? Like that's sort of a basic premise in a lot of, usually it's that there's a solid storytelling experience. That said, when you use when you work in this sort of way, it allows for ideas to emerge and land in also very different and unique ways. I think in some ways it makes it even more powerful. So
yeah, that's so.
So I think that's certainly what I take away from this, and I'm looking forward to seeing it again because I think when I see it again, I'll take something else from it. That's why I am so fascinated by this work and this play. Before I go on, I want to ask you, Aubriana, do you have any thoughts or questions? Please chime in. Tucker, please chime in, please.
Sure. Well, thank you all so much. It's such a joy for me to get to be here and see your performance. And I mean, I really felt like as the story goes on, things are coming into place. The audience is putting together really the dynamic between them, and I felt like the way the characters, they were playing their connection so earnestly that I was getting kind of sucked into this like cyberspace kind of emotional setting with you all. I'm really curious to ask for Marion and Melissa and Graydon, but also I'm curious to hear from Pamela as the writer. The characters are so different, which is like what makes it so dynamic and awesome to watch. And I'm curious how independent those journeys were for you as the actors finding those characters or how you were going to express it versus how much it was impacted by collaborating together and kind of interacting. And I guess as far as that with the writing of like, did you picture kind of this odd couple pairing right away, or these two separately, and how are they going to interact came later? Long-winded, but yeah, thank you.
I'd love the actors to
Yeah.
chime in.
You go first, Marianne. Go on.
It was so clearly written as to who we were. The shoes just fit right away. I knew right away who I was. I knew right away who Synth was. And then it just worked from there. And then it's all about the words, listen and respond to what was going on. A dresser is the most intimate thing an actor can have. And that connection with her as my dresser is that's just a bond that is just, like none other. And I think at the end, she finally confesses and says, you hurt me. You left me and you hurt me. And I can't do it alone. And I think after she says, I can't do it alone, she becomes liberated. She transcends Nick. And she's able to now go on. Now that I've said it and I've made my peace.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. What about you, Melissa?
Well, my character seems to be very well spoken. That's my first impression of Synth. Also, she's very creative. Now that part I can relate to because and this is going to be interesting because I used to major in fashion design briefly. Didn't get me anywhere until I went to musical theater school. That changed everything for me. But but I like playing Synth because she appears to be very social despite having a disability, and she seems to be making it out on I pretty much have misgendered my character because they're non-binary, as am I, which is still a fresh concept for me, given my own gender expression. I go by she, they. Those are my pronouns. But something tells me that Synth is very non-binary, and they have their own way of expressing themselves gender-wise. I have my own way of expressing my gender. But yeah, she seems fun and seems to be, very grounded, unlike Zelda. But I do like the odd couple dynamic between Synth and Zelda, which makes the play more, much more intriguing as it is.
Yeah, I just it I but see the introductions of so many of the ideas also give us a commentary on where we are in this world right now and the differences in terms of um online. That's not real. That's not real. What's real is what's tangible. What's, you know, it's interesting to get that opinion as well. The reason you left the country, that's all very real. It puts us right into the center of sort of this reality that we all now find ourselves in, which makes this again so much more um, interesting and captivating because it shares a lot of different thoughts and ideas that are all very, very relevant and relatable. Uh, Tucker, what do you think? I don't know if you heard me.
Um, yeah, I like the play. It reminded me of how how the the play reminded me of Melissa's first play in the pandemic with with Carolina in the free loop train.
Oh yeah, do you remember that, Melissa? The first that it was a play with Carolyn, right?
With a Carolina doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just loved it because it definitely had there to me that just felt like there was uh between the actual the monologues that you had in between then the discussions that you had with each other. It just sort of put this in a very unique and interesting place, which was all rooted in a world that we find ourselves in and finding a way through it or out of it. Um, I don't know. This is a play that I would love to try to see um, actually done on a stage and how we would think about staging this,
Mm,
you know?
yeah,
Uh,
I'd love that.
yeah. And that would be an interest and Grady, you would be a good person to do that because you have really great um, ideas in terms of making these things uh, however you do it. I mean, in terms of uh, taking something and making it a real, I mean, a live experience. I think it's really exciting. Um, do you how if you all right, here's a hypothetical. If we were to stage this on stage, what do you think you would do?
Yeah, I mean, there's a stage direction in it that we kind of talked about having read
Mm-hmm.
within the actual performance, which is that in the beginning, Marianne's character, Zelda, is coming into a spotlight, clicking her way across the stage, and finally arriving kind of in her moment, in her light where everyone can see her and all her
Mm-hmm.
fans can appreciate her. And this, I think it would be really interesting to physicalize that difference between actually seeing the light and when we're in it and out of it, and when she finds herself
Mm-hmm.
hiding backstage, just about ready to go on. If that's where synth kind of lives in this backstage world, or if they're
Mm-hmm.
elsewhere in their home country where they've gone to. And, if those kind of mix and how they'd relate as people in the same physical space that aren't necessarily relating, where they, in this case, turn their cameras off, but they're have to be on this same stage in reality. I think could be cool.
Yeah, that to me is what would make this kind of exciting, because you can, I mean, in the fact that you're all on a screen in front of me right now, and I see all of your faces, and you're all in different places in this world right now, is quite fascinating. But to actually, if we were all in the exact same space, that's what makes that distance become an interesting challenge to work through in terms of distance versus the actual proximity.
Yeah. How do you show it when it's not
Mhm.
actually there?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then the
Yeah.
devices you would use to make it feel. What were you going to say, Pamela? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like in the play, the second scene where they're talking about Zelda saying she hears things, and they bond over the Bowie moment at the end. They're actually together in a
Mhm.
park, and of course Zelda would love nothing more than to be in the physical space with, I mean, that's what it's sort of that analog versus digital, and even though we are able to do what we're doing right now, which is amazing. But
Mhm.
what how does distance affect us? And even Synth, who pretty much is a person of action, and they've just gone on and they are doing it. Even they think of those blue trail of sequins,
Mhm.
um, remembering what it is to be in the same space. So it would just be a great thing to have that.
Mhm.
And then we'd have to work on how to create the distance. But it'd be great to also be able to have that
Really
actual
jump
being
into
in the same physical space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it becomes interesting, because the question then becomes, are memories real? You know? And I kind of like that idea, because I mean, to us individually, memories are real. Sometimes collectively memories are real, but even with a collective memory, there's always slight variations. It's never really quite the same, I think. But it's we try to find those common elements that sort of connect us to that, in this case, memory. But it's just, once again, it- we're fascinating creatures. We really are. Human beings are
Yeah.
fascinating creatures.
Well, even in the present, even
Mhm.
when you're in the presence of one another, that whole idea of
Mhm.
hearing what the other person isn't saying, and the art or the act of communicating, is even that can be slight variations, as you say, not just the memory of an event, but the event actually happening right in the present.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
fascinating.
it's so fast. It really is. My favorite movie of this past year is a movie that, and I've said this to you, so you heard it before, sorry. Um, my favorite movie that I saw this year so far was The Life of Chuck. And if you have not seen this movie, most people have not even heard of this movie. It came out during the summer, and it's such a wonderful movie. It's one of my favorite movies, because once again, it has so much in it. And the movie itself is based on a Stephen King novella, and it was one of his later, I think it was the last novella he wrote. But it's such a great story, because it really does sort of delve into our lives, our memories, and all hinges on the quote from Walt Whitman, which is, "I contain multitudes." And that to me, I mention it tonight because that is part, I think, in the spirit of the work that you have all created. It sort of it indicates that how things that occur in our lives echo and ripple, and we oftentimes don't realize the impact that we have on people. We can recognize the impact that other people have on us, but it oftentimes doesn't work in that reverse order. But it is through those ripples and through connections that we grow and we change, and the connections of humanity become so important to us. And I think what this play boils down to in all of its essence is the need to be connected in some way, and how without those connections we are lost. We need each other. And I think that becomes that's such a powerful and important message in a time when we are feeling a lot more disconnect than we should be. So
And also, I wanted to tell all of you the show had a magic feeling of wicked.
really,
Yeah,
how's
because
how's
it
so?
become Bob person wanted to do good,
Uh-huh.
and Polly just did not know how, because of how our society, this society made them
Mm-hmm.
like a simple had to be forced to move out of the country,
Mm.
and so just did not know how to cope.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's 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 really amazing, Tucker. That's actually pretty fascinating. Yeah, I the quality of good art is always that ability to um, allow it sort of stays with you and you think about it, and it just sort of turns and turns around in your mind, and it affects you in such really deep and profound ways. And that's why I think this play is really so special, because it has uh, it does that. It has elements of that. So I'm just so fascinated about it. So I'm so thrilled that you guys were able to put this together and create this for us. And my only real joy is the fact that I get to experience it again in a few more minutes. Does anyone else have anything more they'd like to say or add before we wrap this, and I give you a few minutes break before we get to start again? No, nothing. I am just so thrilled and honored. Thank you, Pamela, for writing this. Thank you, Grady, Marianne, Melissa. Thank you guys so much. Again, the thing that I love about the Playmakers Intensive, the work that we are doing, is that it is all done in a very concentrated period of time. there's really, when you think about the fact that just a few weeks ago, this work did not exist. The idea that this group was going to get together to create this work did not exist. It just all sort of came together through literally randomness, and out of the randomness, we have created something truly special and substantial. And that is, in so many ways, for lack of a better word, miraculous. And it is why we do what we do. I think as artists, we wield a very powerful wand, one that is necessary, more necessary now than ever, because we're so easily distracted by all these other things in life, and we tend to lose focus of the things that are the most important. And good art makes you feel again, you know, a lot, and you learn in a different way. It's not an intellectual exercise as much as it is because it is. And that to me is why we have this great ability to change people and shape people, even if it's one person at a time. So thank you all for doing this and for being a part of this and for elevating our work. You mean the world to us. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Again, we're so grateful to you, and this connection cannot happen without our audience. It's like you're the catalyst, you're the final piece that we get to bounce this off of, and it just means so much to us. So thank you so much for being a part of our work. We hope that you will join us for the rest of this week. Tomorrow, oh my goodness, we have, in keeping with this wonderful theme of transcendence, we have a wonderful play. We have a really outstanding play tomorrow night. The tomorrow night's play was a piece written by Enrique Huile called Rebellion. Oh my goodness, wait, I have to get the list together of all the people because he has a bigger cast. We had a wonderful intimate two-hander tonight. Let me get the list for tomorrow night. Sorry, everybody. I should have had this ready, but I don't. I'm trying to find my list. Who's in tomorrow night's play? Well, I know that, oh, no, wait a second. What am I talking about? It's not a bigger cast tomorrow night. It's another two-hander. Enrique wrote this wonderful play, Rebellion, and it stars Anne Marie Morelli, who also happens to be my wife, and Jack Sims. So it's really an exciting piece. And again, we'll also continue on, I think, in this realm that we currently find ourselves in with introducing a lot of different ideas in sort of an interesting sort of in some cases almost a surrealistic way, but really exciting. So we hope you'll join us tomorrow night. But more importantly, come to see our show in 5 more minutes on Facebook. We're going to be starting up in a few minutes. You guys, thank you so much. Please take a break, and we will see you in a few minutes. And please go to our website, tbtv.org, if you can see all of our other shows and everything else that we've been working on. If you really like our work, click the donate button at the top of the page. We could really use your support now more than ever. And when you do support us, we consider you a partner in our art. So we hope that you will continue to do that. Thank you so much for being a part of our work. We'll see you hopefully in 5 minutes, and definitely tomorrow night, 7:30 on YouTube here. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a good night. Bye-bye.